All right, guys. So day 4 of 31 days, I watched a movie that I wanted to watch for a long time, which is The Bad Seed from 1956. And I really love those uh, killer kid movies or disturbed kids movies. For some reason, that's just a subgenre of horror that I really enjoy. Like I really, really love The Good Son. Orphan, I like a lot. I watched Mikey this year, and Mikey was really cool. So I'm into that kind of subgenre a lot, and I really enjoy them. So I was really excited to see The Bad Seed. I thought that this one I wanted to watch for a long time, number of years actually. So I'm finally glad to talk about it. Now the basic plot of this is that there's this little girl named Rhoda, and she is this nice, friendly little girl that like is in a wealthy looking family, and like the dad goes away for the military, or for the war, and the mom's left on her own with Rhoda, and all these mysterious deaths start happening around her, around Rhoda, and the mom starts to slowly figure out what Rhoda really is, and I think that the movie does a good job of that. It's based on a book, which I have not read the book. I don't know anything about it. Actually, I lied. I do know about the. I read the Wikipedia article, and I know that it says the ending's different than the movie. The movie ends in a way that is not the same because they wanted it to not be um, the same cruelty as the book, I guess, if that makes sense. But the basic story, like I said, is that. And the thing I really like about this movie, too, is that it surprised me listening to the opening credits because this is in 1956. It was very, like, hokey, cheesy, like, non-horror like sounds at the beginning of the movie in the opening credits, which was really funny. And the movie kind of mixes melodrama in this as well, because the movie is definitely of its time. It's definitely from 1956. These actors really talk in a way that is very much in its time. But the thing I really do think that the best part of this movie is that the acting is top notch from the mother and from Rhoda. Um, these two actresses do a fantastic job, and I genuinely was really moved, especially with the mother character, where this mother, and this is going to be a spoiler video. I'm gonna talk in depth about this one because this is a 1956 movie, and if you haven't seen the movie and you want to finish my review, go and see the movie first. I like it a lot. I think it's awesome. But there might be spoilers in this video, so um, whenever the mother goes into this kind of denial that like her daughter is this monster is really well done, and the acting from her is really really incredible. And it's weird because the movie has a lot of hokey lines, hokey in the way they're not bad, but hokey in the way that they're from 1956. And then whenever it gets to the serious moments in this movie, they're really powerful and really really good, and it genuinely surprised me in how it is a horror movie, but it's one that I did not expect that kind of caliber of acting from. And not to say horror movies don't have great acting. There's just so many of them. People always think of the negative parts of horror movies if you're like a snooty critic. But this is a movie that I feel like critics liked. And I really think that it's one of those movies that you can watch as not just as a horror fan, you can watch it as a fan of movies. Like this is just a really well made movie. And I like too that it's a movie from 1956. So of course it's not violent. You don't see anything violent on screen except for the final moments of the movie. You never see any violence. You hear off screen noises, screams, you hear things that happen, but you never fully see any on screen violence. And that I think is really cool because the story was so interesting that I didn't need it. I didn't need to have violence. I just really like this story. And also I wanted to bring up the connection to this and The Good Son because The Good Son I've seen a lot since I was younger, and this has a lot of similarities where both Henry and Rhoda from each movie are they're psychos, and they take items that are taken from the crime scene or whenever somebody dies, and both take them, and then the mother realizes that they have them. Like in The Good Son, it's Henry and the duck, rubber duck, and then in this one, it's Rhoda and the medal that she thinks she should have won from that kid Clyde who drowned. And I really liked it. I thought that's cool that The Good Son does that. And watching this movie now, after watching The Good Son for so many times, it's funny to see the similarities, and also just the idea of kind of denial with the mother is kind of similar in The Good Son, except for in The Good Son, it doesn't happen halfway through. It happens like at the end of the movie, so it's not as much delved in upon with that mother. But in this version, the mother halfway through realizes it and knows it, and then is kind of just stuck. Like, what does she do? Like, what do you do in this situation? And I really, really like that. And I like that the movie also gave this twist with the mother where you're like, oh, I didn't realize that would be the case at all. Because, like I said, I haven't read the book, I haven't seen any other iterations of it, but I really thought the twist was cool with the mother. I thought that was awesome. And like I said, the acting here is top notch. And I think that it genuinely surprised me in just how great it was with the acting. And again, these characters are really great. They're really well written. They're really interesting. The acting is great, albeit a little cheesy for its time, but not in a way where the movie like it's not in a way where it's bad. It's just in a way where you can tell that this is how people talked in 1956 compared to now. More wholesome and more friendly than now. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but you know what I mean. If you watch this movie, you'll understand. It's like watching Gone with the Wind, and like the way that they talk, all of them talk. It's very much just of its time period, and it's just stuck in that time period, which again is not a bad thing, but it's interesting. And like I said, I haven't seen any other iteration of this, but now I want to. They made two more apparently, according to Wikipedia. They made one in the 80s, I think, and then they made one in 2018, I think. And they might have made another one, but 2018 has McKenna Grace and Jason Bateman in it, and it's a TV movie, which sounds fascinating. I would want to see that one. I do want to see both now because I do like watching iterations of movies like this, especially ones that I enjoy, because I really enjoyed this one. And like I said, this is not a movie that you go into as a horror fan looking for any violence. You're looking like if you're looking for a great story, a great horror movie with themes, and mixes of melodrama as well, and it's in black and white as well. It it really works if you're just a fan of movies. I really did think that this one worked very well, and I'm just so glad I got to see it because it's always been on my list, and I'm glad I finally just took the chance and rented it, and I'm so thankful that I did because it was so worth it. It was so fun, and pretty much I think I've covered everything on for this movie. I think I hmm yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. So that is my review on The Bad Seed from 1956. And like usual, tell me down below if you guys like the movie. And thanks for watching.